Hi, my name is Jim Sorensen. I've been a professional facilitator and presenter for a little over 30 years, and I've been teaching presentation skills for about 27 years. I get to talk to you today about a course called Presentation Dynamics. I'm going to talk to you about what the content of the course, primarily what you can expect to get out of the course, and even more important to me is what sets it apart from the high majority of presentation courses that are out there right now. So what you can expect from this class is, one, is to greatly reduce your fear of public speaking. How to learn to hold the attention of an audience, so that they are present for what you have to say. To breathe new life into your presentation, so it's just not a blah, 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 blah. Design impact and effective, so that you have a strong impact in your presentation and it is effective at the same time. Deliver consistently effective presentations. Create a more open audience so they're willing to engage and participate with you, so you're not sitting there with crickets in the background. Create effective team presentations, and very important, learn how to handle challenging comments, difficult people, and difficult situations in a way that will actually turn those to your advantage. Now, if you look at most of the bullet points of presentation courses, you're going to see a lot of what sounds very similar to what I just said. Because you will get that, but more importantly to me, you're going to work on your mindset, on your context. In 4 primary areas. To me, the most important and one of the most missed parts of presentation. I think most presentation courses are a lot like acting classes. They teach you to present somebody other than who you are. What's really important to me is that you show up in your presentation. What happens when you feel fearful of being seen in front of an audience, one of 2 things happen. One is what happened to me. First time I ever did a presentation, I was shaking so badly you could hear the change in my pockets. The reason I know that is during my presentation, a man in the second row said out loud, he said, "What's that noise?" And the man sitting next to him said, "I think that's the change in his pockets." And when I finished my presentation, a man walked up to me and said, "Not everyone's meant to be a public speaker." Now, I think it's very obvious in that nervous situation why it would be extremely ineffective. But many presenters, what they learn to do is they're tenacious enough that they actually designed an idealized self. I mean, how many of you have ever seen somebody, you talk to them one-on-one, say, "Hi, my name's Jim," and then they get up here and they go, "Good morning, my name is Jim Sorensen." And you go, who in the heck is that? See, what happens is they send somebody up there that they think you will like, respect more, enjoy more than who they are. And I think that causes the high majority of our problems as presenters. We send somebody up there we don't even know. To me, it doesn't matter how wonderfully designed your presentation is. I don't think it matters how great your product is, how wonderful your ideas are. If people don't hear them, they don't understand them, or, very important, don't hear it as true. I think every audience is equipped with a BS meter. And I'm sure you all know what BS stands for, a believability scale. I think years ago we quit listening to words, and what happens is we look in their eyes and we look at their stance, and if we know there's a real person in front of us, we listen to their message. To me, that is the primary foundation of any good presentation, is that a real person is in front of you. One of the reasons this is so important is the University of California did a study many years ago on impact of presentations. And what they found, as far as impact, 8% of the impact are the actual words you use. 37% is your tone of voice. 55% everything else. So what happens is you can have the best words on earth, but if your context, your mindset will show up in your tone of voice and in your body, how you move it, how you flow with the audience is going to make the difference. The second thing is to embrace the reality of your audience. I I was brought into a company years ago. They had a subject matter expert that was getting terrible, terrible reviews. And they asked me if I'd work with them. And I sat down with them in their conference room, and he looked at me, and the first thing out of his mouth is he said, "Jim, I want you to know I'm not the problem." I said, "Okay, what is the problem?" He said, "It's the audience. I don't think they prepare them effectively for me." Instantly, I knew the problem. Instead of him embracing the reality of his audience, he wanted the audience to be the right way for him. What we're going to work on here is for you to be in service to your audience. I was called in to a global company years ago, and they had a VP there, terrible, boring speaker, and they put on a whole presentation skills class just for him. And in watching him present, I instantly knew the problem. As I am, he was an introvert. And what happens, he would take on the whole load of all the eyes looking at him, and it would freak him out. And I simply worked with him on how to be in service to the audience, how to really be there for the reality of the people in front of him. I got a testimonial letter from the CEO of that company, and he said he was 1 billion times better. He had the expertise, he had the knowledge, but he was so freaked out in front of a group, he forgot what he knew. So what I really want is not only do you embrace the reality of who you are, but you embrace the reality of your audience, so you can give those consistently effective presentations. The next thing is the value of good preparation. I love the old John Wooden quote, "If you fail to prepare, prepare to fail." It's to really take the time to do good preparation, not to over-prepare, prepare you out of the presentation, but you bring. See, I've known many people that when they get up, they wing it. And I want you to know, sometimes when you wing it, magic happens. But for those people, it is an amazing benefit to be able to do consistent presentations, so they don't have to hope that the planets align when they wing it. The last one, and I think one of the most valuable parts, I think you can go and, even for me, you can hear me give an hour keynote on good presentation, and you'll get some good pointers, but I think more important is you get really good feedback. For several years, I was working with Coca-Cola. I was training their internal presenters all over the world, and when I came back from China, NPR decided to do an interview, and it was one of the best interviews I've ever done. And they asked me the most difficult question I've ever had in an interview. They asked me, if you had one gift to give every leader, what would it be? And I had to go offline because I had no idea, but I called them back, and I said it would be the ability to watch yourself for 1 week and not know who you're watching. See, we can't see ourselves. I mean, think of how many of you, when you hear yourself in a recording, you know that's not your real voice, you've been mystically dubbed. See, to think we see ourselves is fantasy. I love the old adage, you can't see the spinach in your own teeth. What happens when you view yourself in that viewpoint, you can see what the audience sees. And I think that's very uncomfortable for us, but in that discomfort, what we do is we really ground more deeply in ourselves, and we know where those effective course corrections can happen. I was working with a hospice organization, and what they did is they trained clergy all over the world to present their course, and part of the entrance into being a facilitator for that course, they had to go through my class. And I remember this one class, the whole class was all clergy from all different religions, different schools of thought. And there was this one minister, really didn't want to be here. He had 25 years of experience. And the only reason he came was because they made him. I got the best testimony from him I've ever had in my career. As a minister for 25 years, he rarely connected with his audience. And what his testimonial said is that after taking this course, he said it was the first time in 25 years he felt an actual connection, an actual energetic connection with his audience. And he said not only that, there were people at the end of his presentation that wanted to get to know him as a person. And that's what you can expect from this course. Not only will you get very good tools, but I want you to know, I mean, how many of you know somebody with a shiny box of tools that doesn't use them? This will be that you have very good tools and you have the foundational mindset to actually put them into effective presentations. This course is designed over a period of time. We do one weekend, a Friday night, a Saturday, and a Sunday. And then about a month later, so you have time to practice in between, you'll do another Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. You'll work on your own content. And we keep the group small enough so that you can get some good individual attention, and you have a large enough audience to work with, but not so large that you can fall through the cracks. Now, if you're curious about finding out more about this course, go on to the Context International website, go under Graduate Programs, click Presentation Dynamics, and I hope to see you there.